Hi, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Off Air with Casey and Kristen. Thank you to Food City once again for sponsoring our Off Air podcast. And the air right now, Kristen, is frigid out there. We'll start with that.
This is the worst time of year, in my opinion. Like, I just do not like the cold. But, I mean, it is what it is. I guess we just have to deal with it.
I was talking to Dave the other day, and it was amazing how, remember, the fall was so above normal until we got to about mid-November. Then it got really cold for about a month, end of November, beginning of December. Then it kind of warmed up. And Dave said the last 2 weeks of December it was on the warmer side, like maybe top 10 warmest end of December we've had here. So it kind of got warmed up. And then when January got here, it cranked back down in a hurry and it has not warmed up. I think every day so far this month, and this is on the 15th, the first 15 days of January, I think every high temperature was below average for here. So we've been stuck in this cold spell for a good 2 weeks to start off the new year.
What a weird year for temperature wise around here. But I am thankful because tomorrow I'll be flying out of here and going to some warmer temperatures, going to Florida for the weekend. And so I already looked. Dave did a little forecast for me for my trip.
Wow, personalized forecast.
A personalized forecast for my travels, which was so sweet. And it's supposed to be like 65 degrees on Saturday. So you just remember that when you're freezing.
Well, but here Friday though, I mean, we're taping this on Thursday. Friday is going to be like in the mid 40s here. It's going to feel very warm. It's going to be the warmest day, but then it's not going to last long. By Sunday, when you come back to town, it's going to be snow and cold again. And then next week, I mean, Dave is already warning us about lows in single digits, the coldest air we've had, he said, in over 2 years. Will be here next week. So you think this last couple of weeks isn't bad. It's going to get even worse temperature wise. And the thing that is crazy to me is, we had all that snow on Friday of last week. It is now Thursday and there's still so much on the ground because it hasn't warmed up. I mean, certain spots it has melted, other spots it is not. And that is unusual, I think, for this area, because usually, you get a snow, then it warms up. And then in a few days later, you couldn't even tell it snowed. But now this snow is going to be here, I think, for many more weeks, I feel like.
Probably. And I don't like it that either, because the other night went out to eat and was going down my driveway. My driveway's, pretty slanted, and I ate it so hard on some black ice. So I've got bruises on my knees from that, but I didn't break anything. So
well, that's good. Yeah. And also with this weather, last week I got to go out in the storm tracker on Friday. I've been in the storm tracker many times, but that was the first time I've actually been in there, like doing a live report on weather conditions. I've gotten to see, you and all of our meteorologists, Dave, Teresa, Kit, all out there. But this is my first time being in that passenger seat, doing a live report on current conditions. And
you did great.
It was cool. The first time I felt like I was like Jim Cantori, or Dave Dirks. So getting to do the weather, it was a lot of fun. We were driving around, and of course, the early newscast, it seemed like there was a bit of a lull in the snow. So the road conditions weren't too bad, but we went back out for the 10 and 11 and it had snowed a little more. And when it got dark, the roads were covered, that night. But I was glad to see people weren't on the road as much as it would be on a normal Friday.
Listen, when I was reporting, I loved a storm tracker live shot. And the reason I love it is because while everyone else is out there in the frigid temperatures waiting, because what people don't realize is, you have to be out there at least 5 minutes before, at least 5 minutes, sometimes 10, because they want to do mic checks and like make sure your shot looks okay and like everything. So you're out there for a good 5 to 10 minutes just freezing, and you can't move. You have to be just standing there in the cold until it's time to go. And, so I love a storm tracker live shot because you're nice and cozy in the car. It's like you got the heat cranked up. It's like you could even, me and Keith Roberts, one of our videographers, we used to stop and get Starbucks and then ride around and talk about the conditions. So I love a storm tracker live shot.
Yeah, I had a couple of people message me on Friday, then even talking to people a few days after around town, like, oh, how did you draw the short straw? Having to go and do that. And I'm like, I didn't draw the short straw. I was like, I was inside the car. I was like, we had, Teresa Carter was out live in the elements.
That's the short straw.
Yeah, I think Johnny was as well. Those people had the short straw. I was inside the car. We had the heat blaring. Every now and then we put the window down, for check conditions. But yeah, no, I was climate controlled. It was perfect. I definitely did not draw the short straw on last Friday in this tracker. I will do that assignment anytime I am asked to do the tracker. I will say, yes, I would love to do that because I'm inside.
The hardest part, I think, for people who, might not know, this is kind of a behind the scenes thing, is you control the camera shot yourself.
Yes.
So while it's on you and you're talking like, hi, I'm here in the car, then when you want to show the conditions, you actually press the button in the car.
Yeah, there's like in the console
has buttons that you can control. So you can either hit one button that'll show you the front of the car and like what you can see, and then the other button shows just you. So I think that's the hardest thing, is like keeping your fingers on those buttons, like, oh gosh, don't mess this up.
Yeah, I mean, because I never done it, so it was like, okay, I'm looking, this is the camera I'm reporting. Before that, I would put my finger on the button so that I know I'm going to just press this thing, but every now and then I would look down and make sure I hit the right button. So that was definitely new, that you're your own kind of camera operator in the passenger seat, because obviously we have somebody driving who their job is to worry about driving the car. So, when we are not driving, I think most people do know that, but in case you don't, when we're doing those reports, we are not actually driving the vehicle. We're in the passenger seat. We do have somebody with us who is driving and making sure they're safe, worrying about what is in front of them, and then we're worrying about describing to you what we're seeing out there.
Well, for your first time, you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will definitely sign up to do that again, and we may get some more snow at some point. It's only January, so who knows? Might get called on again in this month, next month. Who knows? Let's see. What else? This past weekend, our dogs met for the first time.
Oh, they did.
They did.
Chipper and Bristol.
Yeah.
Best friends forever.
Best friends. They met. Obviously, Bristol is between 5 and 6 years old, and Chipper is
born in September, so
like 4 months.
4 months old.
So there's a big difference in age gap between the two. Yeah. Bristol's a female, Chipper's a male. So they were, they were playing, and sometimes even Chipper's a lot smaller than Bristol. So Bristol one time was like, I have enough of this small dog in my face, and kind of like, and then, but
Chipper's also a little bit more hyper than Bristol.
Yes,
Bristol's pretty calm, already. And
sometimes
Chipper's very much still in puppy phase, but he's still learning too, because he gets his last vaccine actually next week. And I've been very careful, just because we watch too many news stories about terrible things that can happen. So I've been very careful with him not to take him out to like parks or like even stores or PetSmart or anything like that. But he really does need that socialization, because I don't want him to be afraid of other dogs or whatnot. So I thought it was good that they get to hang out. But he was overly excited, trying to jump on her.
But I mean, we were probably for maybe about an hour, but even by the last 15 or 20 minutes, they weren't even like around them. Like, the first half hour, they just were constantly playing with each other. And then after the last 15 or 20 minutes, they kind of reached doing their own thing and like, okay, this is not new anymore. And we're coexisting because we have to right now until we left. And then,
kind of like us.
Yes. Yeah.
We just coexist.
We coexist.
Yeah.
We don't really like each other. Yeah. So if you can't tell, but so it was cool that our dogs met. And obviously, once the weather gets nicer, we'll be able to do some walks and get out there, run around and play. So it was obviously very cold, and we were inside. So our dogs did get to meet for the first time this weekend. So that was pretty cool. And we had some football on for a little bit. And
then we got some Buffalo Wild Wings.
Remember,
we did a $60.99 deal.
We talked about it last weekend. Well, we did it. And then we got you and your husband to do it too. We said, we're going to do it. And you guys said, yeah, good idea. We'll do it too. So we had 4 orders. We went and picked them up and brought them back to you guys at the house. And my wife Kelly went in because I was driving, dropped her off, and she comes out with 4 bags. And she looked like an Uber or Uber Eats delivery person. And she's like, I look ridiculous carrying 4 bags of wings here. She had 80 wings she was carrying in her hands. So
personal DoorDash. I would appreciate you doing that.
But
did you enjoy them?
I did. Yeah, and I had it in 2. I had one half, and then the next day. And then Kelly, she ate like 5 at a time. And she lasted her like 4 days. I'm like, are you going to eat these wings? I keep opening the fridge, seeing these wings in here. I'm like, these aren't mine. I can't have them. They're hers. And then I'm like, are you going to eat them? Like, yeah, I'm going to eat them. And she would eat 5 this day, 5 that day. And it took her like 4 days to eat all those wings.
That was me. I only ate I think 5 the first night. And then I had all these wings. And then it ended up, Kegan just threw them all into one box. So I was like, which I hated, because I was like, which flavors are these? But then the next day I put 4 on a salad. And then after that, they were gone because my husband ate them.
Yeah,
So,
no, I was good. I did not eat any of the order Kelly got, but yeah, that was a great deal. And I don't know how long they're going to do it, but while there's still football on, we may be back again at some point to
fun.
do that.
And speaking of football, we got some games coming up.
Before we get to our picks, though, you want to air some grievances about a social media app?
Oh, about TikTok?
Yeah, did you want to say something about TikTok?
Oh, well, we can talk about TikTok first.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So many of you have heard probably that there's going to be a ban on TikTok. How do you feel about that?
As somebody who doesn't use TikTok, I could care less.
I know, which is really sad. It's sad that you have never even used it, and but some people spend hours a day on TikTok just scrolling through.
What about you?
I really love it because it does give you little bits of the news sometimes too, really quickly. And then our friend Ashley Sharp, do you remember her?
Yes.
Ashley Sharp, she used to work in the Tri-Cites at the competitor, dun dun dun. But she was just a really awesome person. But she works in LA now, or like close to LA in California, and she actually used it covering the fires, the California wildfires, as a way people would like send her messages like, can you check on this home? Can you check on this home? And she would go to like each of these homes and take video of it and post it on the app. And then everyone could see like the damages to their homes and things like that. So I do think social media and things like TikTok can be used for the greater good. So I wish that they could figure something out, like a way to
it's just obviously, I think
keep it in a like American.
I think the issue is it's a Chinese-owned company, and that's what lawmakers don't want to have.
And I'm like, we have some really like smart people in America, like Elon Musk. Can he not like create his own TikTok and get it going? But I don't know if it would take off.
Well, he's on X. He's on X right now. He's a little busy with X.
Well, true. Yeah. But maybe we could come up with our own.
You and
TikTok, me and you.
Someone who doesn't use it, and someone who you told me the other day you're technologically challenged even more than I am.
No, that's not true. I just can't edit videos on an iPhone.
I've done that before.
I'm very technologically savvy, except for editing short videos on Facebook. That's hard. But the reason I wanted to talk about the band too is because for our snack today, I brought a TikTok trend for us to try. Okay. So you want to go ahead and try?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So
I misunderstood you. I thought you wanted to talk about TikTok in relation to football.
No, I wanted to do that after, but it's okay. So TikTok, there's a lot of trending things that happen on there too.
My wife is on it all the time. Yeah. So when she shows me videos or sends me videos, I'm like, I don't have stop sending me videos. I don't use it.
Right. But another thing about TikTok that I love too is like the recipes. Like all of my TikTok, if you go to it, is like things that I save and I like are recipes, like quick meals.
Yeah, she uses a bunch of them
for
that. Yeah.
So this is a trending item. So the first thing that you do is you need a fruit roll up. Okay.
You need a fruit roll up?
You need a fruit roll up for this recipe.
All
so here you go.
Thank you.
Here's one for you. And if you'll unroll that, this is the TikTok trend snack. Need my drink out of the way. Okay. So I got the tropical ones because it just sounded like it would be good. But you can use any flavor. I got these at Food City today, by the way. Shameless plug for you, Food City.
It's not a shameless plug. They sponsor the podcast.
Okay. So you lay it on the table.
Okay.
Okay. So we're laying it on the table. Then you get some pomegranate seeds. Have you ever had pomegranate? So pomegranate.
I don't know.
So this is
I don't think so.
This is great. I love buying them in this container because a pomegranate's like this, and then you have to cut it and the seeds get everywhere. And if you touch them, I'll just forewarn you, like that red will get on your hands and stain your hands. So that's why I don't really like cutting one because it gets everywhere. Versus this is so convenient because it just comes.
Will this red get on my hands?
Huh?
Will this red get on my hands?
If you dig your hands into it, so don't do that.
Okay.
We're not going to do that.
Okay.
So for the trend, you get a spoon and you put the seeds in the fruit roll up. Okay. And then you're going to roll it up like a little burrito.
Okay.
And then you're going to eat it.
That's enough. We'll be able to close this thing here.
Do you want to try one without the fruit roll up to see if you like it?
Nah, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to have to eat it anyway.
Pomegranates are going everywhere. Okay, let's try it. Oh, look at my burrito. It was perfect. What do you think?
It's kind of messy.
That's because you didn't roll it up. You're supposed to roll it up like this.
Well, you worked at a Mexican restaurant. I did not. Don't touch my fruit roll.
I'm trying to roll it for you. I didn't roll burritos at the Mexican restaurant. There you go.
You probably just picked it up by osmosis, though.
I think it was good. The other trend a while back was to put pickles in the fruit roll-up. So we can try that next week.
I like pickles.
In a fruit roll-up?
Never had that.
Have you ever had a fruit roll-up before?
Of course. Probably not in 30 years, though, but I've had a fruit roll-up. When I was like 7. These are a mess here.
I like it. Okay, ready? 1 to 10.
Are these pomegranate things healthy for you?
Very. Pomegranates have a lot of antioxidants.
Okay.
It's a fruit. You know?
1 to 10, I'll say it's a 7. Give a thumbs up if you're higher or lower.
A 7? 8.5.
And you're a very easy grader. You don't give anything. I don't think you've given anything below like a 6.
Because I like to eat. Well, no, that's not true. The Japanese snacks.
You didn't like some of those?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't know that those were the best. But
now I have fruit roll-up stuck in my teeth. I mean, this is, at least we did this before the news. We'll have time to fix that stuff. Yeah, you're just, look at this.
I like it. So anyways, without TikTok, we'd never know about this. I'd never know.
No, imagine.
And how sad would that be that you would never?
I'm quite certain there will be another, if it does go away, that there will be another, because, 10 years ago, did anyone ever know what was TikTok? I mean, Twitter had come
Instagram
out.
Reels is like
Instagram,
similar, honestly.
okay.
So we don't.
I'm sure there will be something else coming down the line that'll be even more popular.
I'm gonna eat the rest of these pomegranates.
All right, well, you do that. I'm going to go over we'll finish up here with our picks, our NFL, college football picks. We've been doing this all season. Last week, the college games, there were only 2. Kristen took Ohio State over Texas -5, and Ohio State won that game by more than 5 points, so she gets a win for that. I also got a win. I had Notre Dame to beat Penn State by more than 1 point. Notre Dame did that. So we have Notre Dame and Ohio State for the national championship. That'll be coming up on Monday night. They're playing that game in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz, place you've been not that long ago. Ohio State is an 8-point favorite in the national championship game. The way they've played in the playoffs, I mean, they killed Tennessee, they killed Oregon, they beat Texas. I mean, that was the worst game they had played in the playoff was against Texas, and they still won by margin.
Yeah, and that's what is hard for me, though, because I didn't think they played as well. I don't think they played against Texas as well as they have.
No, they hadn't, but they still won.
And so part of me wants to go the Irish for that reason.
But Notre Dame.
One. But Teresa's my friend, Teresa Carter. And so she's a big Buckeye. So I guess for Teresa's sake, I'd go Ohio. But
you take Ohio State. Well, I'll take Notre Dame just with the plus the 8 points. And I think Notre Dame, obviously, I think both teams played their A game. Ohio State's going to win. They're the most talented team. I don't think that's up for debate. When they play their top, they're better than anyone else in college football. But for most of the season, they really didn't. But in the playoffs, they've turned it on. And the irony is, this is the first year that college football has that 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
And the last, whatever it was, 6 or 7 years, it was 4 teams. If this was a 4-team playoff this year, Ohio State would not have made it.
Which is crazy.
They lost that last game to Michigan. That was their second loss. They would have been out. But now a 12-team playoff, more teams get in. And now they were able to.
Do you like that?
I do, because, NFL, they don't do just 4 teams. I mean, they do actually now 14 teams. They've expanded their play. So I do like more teams. You give like the Boise State they got in, Arizona State, who really should have beat Texas.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even have been in the conversation in a 4-team playoff. So I like getting more teams in. I believe one more year they got to stay with this format. They can tweak it slightly. Then I think you'll even see college go to 14 and then eventually 16. I mean, there's just too much money at stake on these networks to pay money to have more inventory in games. But I do like it. I do like getting more teams involved. Notre Dame probably would have got in a 14 playoff. I mean, they did have just one loss. That was a bad loss to Northern Illinois, but they would have been on the edge there. But Ohio State would absolutely not have been. So I like it.
I like it too. I think it's fun.
NFL, 4 games this week. We're in the divisional round. You got the 2 number 1 seeds, the Chiefs and the Lions, who did not play last week. Not really a ton of great games in the NFL. I mean, there were 6 games. Only one of them was really down to the wire. That was the Commanders and Buccaneers game. That was the only.
That was good. We watched that at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, that was the only kind of underdog game that. I think the only underdog that won was Washington. So, yeah, I mean, that was a good one. Other ones were kind of a dud. Last week, you took the Eagles. They won by more than 4.5, so you got a win. I took a loss. I took the Chargers against the Texans, and they got blown out. Justin Herbert threw more interceptions in that game than he had all season. Yeah. So it was just a terrible day for the Chargers. But we got 4 games to pick this week. You are going to pick a game. Actually, the last game, the last game on Sunday is Baltimore at Buffalo. That's probably the best game of the week. Your thoughts?
I'm going with the Ravens.
The Ravens.
Even though we're doing playoff fantasy, and I don't have any Ravens. All I have is one Bills player.
Okay.
So it would kind of stink for me, I guess, if the Ravens went crazy. But I don't know. I just think Lamar Jackson's really good right now. And
this game is in Buffalo.
Yeah.
But the Ravens are favored by a point. So, I mean, it is like very much a toss-up
close
game. These 2 teams obviously have the dynamic quarterbacks with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
But Josh Allen's more attractive, so, to me.
But you're taking Baltimore.
But I'm taking Baltimore.
All right, that's her pick. I'm going to go to the game on Saturday night. The Lions are playing the Commanders. The Lions are favored by 9.5. That is a lot of points, but I think the Lions on a mission. They won their big game against Minnesota to win the division. They had a week off. I think Washington, got the rookie quarterback. They had a thrilling win. I think maybe they come a little bit back down to reality this week. I think the Lions put it on them, and I think the Lions win by more than 9.5 over the Commanders.
Okay.
So that's my pick.
I like that pick.
And then you probably won't be able to see a ton of games this week because you're going to be out of town. So you might.
Yeah, I'll be out of town. Definitely not Saturday because that's my friend's wedding.
Yeah.
So unless it's on a TV somewhere.
It could be. You never know. I mean,
but so probably not Saturday, but Sunday I'll be home
Okay.
in time. And so yeah,
all right.
I'll still get to watch some ball.
Well, so yeah, it is exciting in one way, but it is also sad because again, college football last game's Monday. And then NFL, there's only 7 games left in the entire season. You got 4 this week. Next week, you have the 2 championship games. Then they take a week off. And then the Super Bowl comes after that. And, of course, the Super Bowl, another shameless plug, that'll be on one of our channels this year, Fox. That'll be on February the 9th.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. February the 9th is the Super Bowl. So that is in New Orleans this year is the Super Bowl on February the 9th. But that's still a couple weeks away. But yeah, so there's only really 8 college/NFL games left in this season.
I'm going to have to think of what I'm going to make to bring for our Super Bowl party that we'll have here.
We will, yes.
Some dip or something.
Yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks. And NBC, we got Channel 5. This is our last NFL game. We got the Sunday early, the 3:00 game, the Rams and the Eagles. That game's on NBC on Channel 5. And then the Saturday night, the Lions Commanders game is on Fox. So those are the 2 games you can check out on our networks. Of course, Fox does have the Super Bowl this year. So Tom Brady will be calling the Super Bowl instead of playing in it.
Yeah.
I know.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, hey, you have a good trip this weekend. Be
so
safe.
much.
Have fun in Florida. Enjoy the warm weather.
I will.
And I will be here with all of you freezing in the Tri-Cites this weekend. And we will find out how Kristen's trip was next week. But before we leave, just want to thank Food City one more time for sponsoring Off Air. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.